In thinking this over, I come to the conclusion that if more people, many people, implemented the captor, the Earth captor device of Barbosa and Leal, we'd have all these different AC waves being pumped through the Earth at different phase relations, and they would start to cancel each other out and cancel out the phase relation involving the grid and weaken it, create a local brownout, let's say, in a particular area. So I can imagine if people made sufficient demand upon the regulatory agencies. This is why electric power is pretty much a monopoly, because they would have, if people insisted, then they would have to basically sell people the frequency, the beat, because all they'd be using is the voltage beat. They wouldn't be using the amperage anymore to any great degree. In fact, they don't have to use any of it. They could still, have a battery source for their power and an AC inverter, but it's got to be in phase with the main, with the grid. Otherwise, it's going to screw up each other, So then it'll become obvious that the power company never created power in the first place. It got it from the Earth, in all likelihood. The only thing they create is a beat. And the whole system runs on that beat. Tesla always said voltage gets ahead of the current, and the voltage establishes the beat, and that's all that's really needed. So that's the only thing that would be regulated and provided, whereas at the moment, we don't see the regulation. But if we got involved, we'd become a part of that regulation. So we would have to hook up the captor device to the mains, in a sense. Excuse me. In a sense, to keep it in sync. Or, atomic clock, something to keep it in sync, so that everybody's device would be regulated to work in sync with everybody else's in clock, synchronous clock operation. Now, I don't know. I guess it's not a problem when you're out in the middle of the ocean, because that's your barrier, your buffer zone between continents, so that they can get away with a different cycle per second over in Europe as opposed to here. And in depopulated or not so populated areas of the country, that also serves as a kind of a buffer zone. But in the cities where most people are, it would be difficult, that's true, to put in lots of grounding rods. But what if we figured out how not to? Have to depend on so many. And just one. How many do you need, really? One each. One for the neutral, one for the line. Maybe 3 or 4 at the most for the line. But